All right, today is March 6th, 2026, and we are up $7,000 on the day. No, I'm just kidding. We're up $7,000 on 5 different evals. So this is our road to 10,000 a month. I'm going to show you guys that it's possible to make 10,000 a month. So I bought 5 clean evals, and we're going to go over the 3 trades that I took today that allowed me to pass half of my evals. So let's go over our stats first. So this first trade was $4,300, right? I went short. This is on, I believe, 3 accounts. So I was in with 2 contracts each. These are my stats. I had a 3 risk to reward ratio, a 1-to-3. And it was a 3-minute continuation with a 30-second inverse fair value gap. So let's go over what I saw.
All right, I just got in on this 30-second inversion. Hopefully I don't get stopped out because this is really pissing me off. Oh my god, bro. Reject off this. Yes. Oh, it edged me. Come on.
Order filled.
Yes! Oh my god, dude. Yo, trading this early in the morning is so painful. Like, what is this garbage I had to deal with? Jeez. Oh, god damn it, man. Finally. Yeah, so that was on 1, 2, 3 accounts. Thank God.
On the day, I was extremely bearish because we were coming for a hourly low. The hourly low got swept around 9 o'clock. It was roughly here. So this is the hourly low that I was going for. And this trade, I'm giving it like a B rating maybe. The reason it's a B rating is because the time that I took it. If you see down here, I took this around 6:50 a.m. That's not the ideal time that I normally trade. I normally trade during market open for New York. But what I saw here was this 3-minute, yes? Because I couldn't find a 5-minute up here, so we only had a 3-minute. Then once we had a 3-minute, we had our first 30-second inversion. This was our highest time frame inversion. Yes. Now notice something. Once this inverts, I don't get in here, right? Because I'm not fully confident in my trade yet until we go back up and I see this candle. I've talked about these types of candles multiple times. This candle had a what? It was a green. So this is showing that there are stronger buyers in the market than there are sellers. And then what do we have? Massive red candle immediately. So this is what I call a green to red candle, if you can see it right there. My green to red candle, let's make this a bit bigger so you can see. We have a 3-minute sweep, 30-second inverse fair value gap. I waited for this first, a green to red candle, to show if we're actually in a bearish market. And then we had another green to red candle. So I entered here. My break even, I believe, was around this line right here. And if we were truly bearish for the day, then we should have respected this 30-second, which we did. We respected this 30-second, came back down. The reason for my TP down here, if I can get rid of this 30-second here, the reason for my TP down here is simply because I needed that much to pass the account. So entered with 2 contracts, got out there for, I believe it was roughly 1460, something around that, and got a 1-to-3 risk to reward ratio. So let's go over the next high quality trade that I took.
All right, if this goes a green or red candle, I'm gonna get in with a stop at the high.
Order filled.
Yeah, like that. Now that we had a decent dump, we need to close under this 2-minute here. Right? So this 2-minute is going to tell us how price action wants to move. We're reacting off of that right now, which is a good sign. I got a lot of fair value gaps everywhere, man. This is good. This is going to give us a green to red candle. Alright, by 10 o'clock, so in 1 more minute, we're going to have a macro, obviously. I'd love us to close under this by 10 o'clock and have us deliver down to our sell side. There we go. We have an SMT right here. Gonna check the 30-second time frame. Yeah. We have an SMT right there.
Order filled.
Yeah. Alright, that took me out. Good trail. So the SMT here, if you guys can see it, the SMT here is what caused this to go up higher. So good trade. Wow, we're about to get break even if we didn't close that. Wow. Alright, good close here. Good trail.
This trade here, let's make that bigger. So $1,200. I believe this was also a 30-second inversion. And this was at roughly market open. There we go. Okay. So let's go over what I saw here. So these are the stats first. I gave this 5 stars because I would take this again 10 times out of 10. I had a 5. I planned to have a 5 R multiple, but I only got a 1.8. I'm going to go over that. I had a 15-minute sweep, a bullish SMT, which is what caused me to exit early, and a 30-second inverse fair value gap. So let's see what this looks like. So going into the market, again, I am still bearish. Yes, we had the sweep of this low here. We came back into a 15-minute. Our 15-minute is right up here. Came close to the 15-minute, created a sweep right up here. If we look here at what I wrote that we had a double 15-minute sweep. So our first 15-minute is here. Our second 15-minute is here. Now, if you notice something, I didn't just write 15-minute. I wrote 15-minute DH. No, DM, excuse me. I wrote 15-minute DM. DM, for those of you that don't know, is a devil's mark. A devil's mark is when you have a candle with no wick on one side. So if it has a wick here, for example, and the other side doesn't have a wick, what will tend to happen is price will come up to hit the area that doesn't have a wick and come back down. So when you have an AMD, right? So AMD, if you guys don't know, is accumulation. So we accumulate in this area, then we manipulate towards one side, and then we distribute towards the other, right? So when we have our AMD, what happens is if we have a candle that's like this, let's say the candle just opened. So our accumulation maybe might look something like this. So this is our accumulation. And then what happens? We manipulate to the downside. Yes? Once we've manipulated to the downside, if this was my high, for example, if we manipulated here to the downside, we would leave a wick like this once we begin to distribute towards the upside. So once we come up towards our distribution, this down here gives us this wick. Now, we didn't have a wick here, and we dropped from, what is this? 724 down to, this is a 100-point move to the downside. And it retraced back up to the upside because we did not have a wick. So that is why I drew out this 15-minute devil's mark. After we came up, we had a sweep, And this is our 30-second inversion. Again, if you notice, if I was zoom in here, I did not enter here. What did I wait for? I waited for a green to red. Again, we have our candle here. What happened? Pushed up. If it pushed up and it fully closed above this 30-second fair value gap that it just made here, I would not have entered the trade. But what did I see? I see that we have another fair value gap in here. And I said, okay, if we can respect this 30-second and have a green to red candle, I would enter, which is exactly what happened. So green to red candle, I stayed in, and my target was down here. Again, I was going for the low. So that was my target. It was a 5R, and we had an SMT. So an SMT is basically saying that ES, this candle was down here. It swept this low, and NQ didn't. So what I did was, I wasn't necessarily sure if we were still in the bearish market, so I took my trailing stop and I brought it down up until here. And yeah, this massive candle would have 100% taken me out, right? So this, I believe, was $600 an account, right? And then we have our final trade, which was here, where I made $1,700. So let's go over that finally.
Alright, I got on this trade a bit early as we're already breaking through the this V shape, which I really like. Let me do the math. How much do I need? 1,500 minus 635. 865. So let me bring this down. There we go. Oh my god. Give it to me.
Order filled.
Yeah! Yes! Alright, kaboom. So we have 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500. So every account is up 1,500 on the day, halfway from passing the combines with no activation fee. So already a great start.
So 1,700, 2 contracts. These are the stats. I gave this 4 stars because I most likely wouldn't take this again if I saw it. I risked only $560 to make $1,750. We had a 3R, and I had a 1-minute inverse fair value gap with a 3-minute continuation, which was also a 5-minute inverse fair value gap. So we'll get into that. I'm going to show you guys why I got in. So once we had this SMT, yes, we had this SMT and a clear push to the upside because of one thing. Look at this. If I go in on the 5-minute here, if we were truly bearish towards this downside move, this is a extremely tiny 5-minute. You can't see it. It's maybe like a tick or two. Yes. So from here to here is a fair value gap. So this is our 5-minute here. If we were truly bearish, we would come down from this candle and close after we swept the low. That would show that we're truly bearish. But the fact that we swept this 5-minute and we swept the low of day and did not close doesn't show that we're extremely bearish. So if we take this back to the 30-second, amazing. Okay, 1 minute, fine. So if we take this back to the 1 minute, we swept the high, SMT at this low, massive push towards the upside. We're still respecting this 5-minute, keep in mind. This 5-minute that's being respected is here. And finally, I have this drawn up here. This is our 5-minute that we closed above. So we have stacked 5 minutes here, sweep of the low. We respect this 5-minute up there, and we finally close. I could have taken an entry here, but since we have an SMT, my stop loss would have been all the way down here, which why I didn't want to take on these combines because I wanted to pass. I did take this on a live account. I got out there, so I did take a loss and I saw this massive engulfment above the 5 minute, and I said, okay, let me see what I could do. And what do we have? We have this massive V-shaped recovery. So let me get rid of this 5 minute because it's kind of in the way. We have this first 1 minute fair value gap, and then we have this second 1 minute fair value gap. This was a 2 minute over here that I drew. Once we had another push right above it, I just entered immediately, and I had my target that was here. Again, the reason I had my target up there is because, let me bring this down a bit. I had my target right here because it was enough to pass the account. So if we go here, we have 5 minute sweep, which I showed, 5 minute inverse fair value gap, which gave me the confirmation. We had a 3 minute sweep, so this down here was into a 3 minute. So if we go into the 3 minute, you guys see this? So we're expecting this 3 minute fair value gap, the 1 minute inverse fair value gap with an SMT that confirmed our bullish bias. So I still have one more, not one more day, but I have another day where I still need to pass, make another $7,500. If we go to the dashboard here, for me to fully pass all of these accounts, this would say 15,000. So that's 3,000 on 5 accounts, so that we can make 10,000 a month after we pass the account for $3,000 each. And yeah, that's about it. So this was day 1. Hopefully I can pass by day 2, which is Monday. If not, I will take my time. I'm not trying to blow these accounts, and I am trying to make 10K a month. So if you do have a question, let me know. And yeah, all right, I'll see you after I've passed these accounts. Later.